Massachusetts just keeps on Massachusettsing, right? Never ceases to amaze me the proposed bills that come down the line, and some of these things pass. And this one was interesting. There was a lot of debate this week on it, and I kind of wanted to weigh in. And part of me, I could see a path where this could actually be a really good thing, but something would have to change, and it goes against the core belief of this state when it comes to landlords and tenants. So I don't think it will change. So if this passes, I think it's just a lose, lose, lose for everybody. All right, so let's get into it. So here is what is happening. So there's a couple of bills coming through the state house now, which would punish Massachusetts landlords for crimes their tenants commit. Um, when tenants commit crimes at the property, the landlord is inherently punished indirectly, right? Loss of value, typically loss of rent, because when you're committing crimes at the property, you're probably not paying rent. Good tenants that live there will leave if the tenants in 2B are just causing a ruckus, right? So the two bills that they brought in are one, HB 1901, fining landlords for tenant drug use. So if a tenant is using drugs on the property or selling drugs on the property, you're going to fine the landlord. Okay, but how can the landlord get rid of that tenant? It's impossible. You make it so we can't get rid of the tenant because we don't want that there. And now you want to, on top of everything else, you want to fine us for it, right? And the second one is landlord liability for police responses. So every time the police go to the property, make the landlord pay. But it comes back to that again, right? Like, how can the landlord solve the problem? I'm going to tell you from personal experience, we can't. We can't solve the problem, right? We had a tenant last year, right? Well, not the first one, hopefully the last one, but not the first one. We had a tenant last year, complete disaster of a situation. Stop paying rent, selling drugs out of the apartment, right? People getting high in the apartment. This is a 12-unit building. I got 11 other tenants there that are good tenants, pay rent on time, just want to live a quiet, peaceful life. And you got these tenants on the second floor just creating absolute havoc, threatening us, threatening other tenants, just insanity. People there that we didn't rent to. You would think, the police knew about them, right? The police knew who these people were, what they were doing. So we're like, great. Can we get them out? Ha, good luck, buddy. All right. 6 months to kick them out because there's nothing you can do. You just have to go through the normal eviction process. So if you want to pass these laws, I'm 100% down for that, right? The landlord should be accountable for what happens in their buildings, but you have to give us the tools to do something about it. So change the law. All right. If you're going to fine me for this law and hold me accountable to this, then allow me to hold my tenant accountable and streamline the eviction process under this statute and allow me to get them in court faster and kick them out faster. Then that's a win-win. We'll take that any day of the week. But they're not going to do that because the landlord-tenant law in Massachusetts is so slanted to the tenant. So what happens? It just becomes what it feels like is it's a money grab, right? The state of Massachusetts is broke right now. I mean, I've seen reports up to $2 billion, and so what better way than to shake down the evil landlords and make them pay? But you're not giving us an option here. Like, we want to participate. We want these problems solved too, but you got to change the laws, right? So getting back to that situation last year, it took us 6 months in court. They didn't pay rent that entire time. By the time we were finally able to show up, and the eviction process is lengthy and costly, right? You got to pay the lawyer. You lost rent. You have fees for the court. Okay. Then you get a judgment, you're allowed to kick them out. It takes a few days before you can execute that judgment. I got to pay a constable to post a notice and show up with me at the move out date. I got to pay a moving company that's bonded. I got to pay for 6 months of storage for what is essentially garbage that some of these people leave behind. Okay. And so, I wish I would have took a video that day, but we literally get in the apartment. There's like 6 people in there. Everybody's high, right? Drugs everywhere, mad at us for waking them up, right? And this is just a couple of photos I took after we kicked them out. and cleaned out the place, right? It's always the doors. They love to like break the doors. I don't know why. This was a brand new $1,100 stove, right? Missing the burner top. God knows what they were cooking on there. Who the hell knows, right? And in the end, what happens, right? 6 months of rent gone. $10,000 of damage to the unit. Landlord gets to pay that, right? The cost of eviction. Landlord gets to pay that, right? There's no recourse to the tenant. This person has nothing. Like, how are we going to go after them? It's such a convoluted process to collect the debt in Massachusetts. So if our representatives are watching this and other landlords are watching this, you need to lobby to them like, look, we think it's a great idea. Hold us accountable. We want to be accountable, but give us the ability to solve the problem. Or it just feels like a money grab and you're just shaking us down for more money. All right, guys, kind of a emotional video, you know, but it is what it is, right? It's just a convoluted system. So listen, if you feel like, if you've been through this, you've dealt with this, or you're going through it right now, let's tackle it together. We can help you out. All right. So reach out to us, call us, visit the website, and like, comment below, tell me what you think of these bills. And definitely, if our representatives are going to pass these bills, then we need to be vocal and let them know that, hey, we won't stand for this. And if you're going to do this, then we're willing to roll with you on it. But you need to make some changes to the laws to give us the ability to enforce this stuff and protect the other tenants. Because in that situation, there's 11 other people, 11 other families that are trying to live their life, and they're totally disrupted. We have a landlord who's totally disrupted and on the hook for this. And it's just not fair to anybody. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't take 6 months and $20,000 to solve the problem. All right, guys. So that's a serious thing coming down the line. I hope that our state representatives, somebody will watch this, right, and say, all right, maybe this guy's onto something, this crazy property manager in Fall River. All right, guys, take it easy.